Hey guys, today we're going to be doing ordering rational numbers from word problems. So it's the same as just ordering numbers, they'll just throw in a few extra words and we want to put these in order, whatever the word problem tells us to. So 4 students are each trying to raise the same amount of money for a class trip. The table below shows how much of each student's goal has been met. So our fundraiser progress, Chelsea has met 7/10 or 0.7 of her goal. Devin has met 2/3. Hong has met 5/8, and Marcella has met 65%. So which list shows the numbers in the table in order from least to greatest? So in order to compare these 4 numbers, we're gonna need to convert them all to the same thing. So it's up to you if you wanna use decimals, fractions, or percents. I like to use percents. I think they're easier to see what's the biggest and what's the smallest. So if Chelsea has 0.7 or 7/10, then we move to turn a decimal to a fraction. You take the decimal and move it over a decimal to a percentage. You're going to move it over 2 places to the right. So we would add in 1 0, and that would be 70%. Devin has 2/3, so in order to get that to a percentage, we're going to need to turn it to a decimal first. And so you just look at the fraction as a division problem. So basically 2/3 is 2 divided by 3. So when I work that out, I'm going to come with another color. Come over here, and you're going to say 2 divided by 3, which 3 doesn't go into 2, so I'm going to have to add a decimal and a 0. And 3 does go into 20 6 times, minus 18, because 6 times 3 is 18, and I'm left with 2. So if I add another 0 and bring it down, we got 3 goes into 20 6 times. So 6 times 3 is 18. And so this is going to continue to go on forever. So that is 0.6 repeating, which then I move over 2 times. And so I would have 66.6% for Devin. On Hung's, we're going to have 5/8, which we're going to do the same process. Look at that as 5 divided by 8. 5 divided by 8. And we see 8 does not go into 5, so I have to add a decimal and a 0. 8 does go into 50 6 times. So 6 times 8 is 48. And I have 2 left over, so I'm going to add a 0 and bring it down. 8 goes into 20 2 times. So 8 times 2 is 16. And I have 4 left over, so I add another 0 and bring it down. And 8 goes into 40 5 times. And 8 times 5 is 40, so it's 0.625. If I'm turning them all to percents, I have to move it over 2 places. And so that is 62.5% of the goal. And Marcella is 65%, so we don't have to do anything to that one. So now if I'm going to take these and put them in order from least to greatest, I see that my smallest percentage out of 70%, 62.5%, and 66.6%, my smallest percentage is going to be the 62.5%, which was Hung's. So that is going to be the least, right? Oh, and 65%. My next one is I have 70%, 65%, and 66.6%. So going up, we would then go to Marcella. And then after 65% would come 66.6%, which is Devin's. And then finally Chelsea has the biggest percentage. So when I look at the list, you're going to have to now look at these numbers. So I know I'm looking for 5/8 to be first, and then 65% to be next. So at that point, we see that our answer is C. On example 2, the table shows the dollar amount of several products that the United States exported in 1998. So airplanes and parts was 50.3 billion. Computers and office machinery was 40.7 billion. And farm projects was 5.06 times 10 to the 10th. So once again, we're going to need to convert these so that they're all the same. I'm going to put them all in standard form so I can see each number. So 50.3 billion would mean 50.3 billion. The 40,700,000,000 is already in standard form. And finally, 5.06 times 10 to the 10th means that I'm going to have 5.06. And going back to scientific notation, the power of 10 tells me that I'm going to move it 10 places to the right because it's a positive number. So I move it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to fill in a 0 for each one of these. So when I write that number out, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice that just because it's a power of 10 does not mean I add 10 zeros. It means I'm moving the decimal 10 times. So the first two, I had to get by the 0 and the 6. So that's why I only added on 8 zeros. And then add in your commas. So we see that this is going to be 50,600,000,000. So I'm now going to place these in order from greatest to least. So the biggest number out of 50,300,000,000, 40,700,000,000, and 50,600,000,000 is going to be the 50,600,000,000. So we would have the farm products is the greatest, followed by airplanes and parts, and the smallest number is computers and office machinery. All right, this is going to go after your conversion chart. So today is August 28th, and it's going to go on page 17. So the way we're going to do this is just fold it in half, and then just tape down one, or glue. You can glue the bottom part of it, or you can tape just the top part of it so that it folds up nicely, but you can open it up to check your notes later.